What's up, everyone? Coach Vance here. Listen, today I want to talk about ghosting in the hiring process, right? Oftentimes I hear this word used or thrown around, and I'm not sure if sometimes individuals are using it incorrectly. And so I thought it'd be important to at least talk about like setting a baseline definition around what ghosting really means in the hiring process. Let's start there, right? Ghosting in recruitment and hiring is essentially when someone contacts you and establishes a two-way communication, then breaks that communication off. Two-way communication. What ghosting is not is this. You apply to a position and your resume goes into an applicant tracking system and then you don't hear anything back. That's not necessarily ghosting because a two-way communication has not been established. Another scenario is you were contacted by someone via email or via LinkedIn message. You responded to that message. Moreover, they didn't respond back. No two-way communication was established. So these are scenarios where this is not ghosting. Now, let's talk about when you are ghosted, right? An example of being ghosted. So you have gotten a recruiter screen, or you've gotten an interview, or you're at the offer stage and you've established two-way communications back and forth with a recruiter or hiring manager. And guess what? You no longer hear from them, right? They abruptly stop. Yes, now you've been ghosted. However, there are ways, there is what I believe at least one simple thing you can do to help minimize being ghosted through the process. And I call it level setting expectations. So what does that mean? As soon as you have established a two-way communication, one of the things you might typically want to do to level set expectations is ask questions. For example, during a recruiter screen, you might ask, so what's the typical timeline from, first screen to the interview process or the offer process? Or you get into an interview. So how many candidates are you planning to interview and when do you expect to have feedback? And then you do a follow-up question. Okay, if I don't hear from you by such and such said date, can I follow up with you, right? Again, you're hearing back from the recruiter and hiring manager as to when to follow up. Level setting expectations is very important so you can differentiate between whether or not you've been ghosted or it's a normal waiting period. For those people that tend to reach out, recruiters, hiring managers, and then don't follow up, listen, I can point fingers in many different directions. However, what I will say is this. In order for you to really minimize being ghosted, level set expectations throughout the process by asking timeline questions. If you like this information, I'm Coach Vance. Follow me on Instagram or the tube. Give me that like or that heart. Helps with my algorithms. I am trying to get to 100 followers. And so help me by sharing this information because sharing is caring. I'm Coach Vance and I'm out.